So
Mm-hmm.
from 2000, 2000 and 2014, from that time period, you could either play with the HBCU school or FCS school or create a team using what they called dynasty mode, where you could create your players. So like
Yes,
the game
I
started
remember that.
evolving. It gave you a little bit more options to create players maybe that wasn't on the actual game, right?
Yeah.
And then they took a hiatus after 2014 for legal issues. They were getting
Yes.
sued. Name, image, and likeness. There were big
Yes.
lawsuits with Oban, and that was like the big one that made headways. And they kind of had to
Mm-hmm.
back off because at
Mm-hmm.
this time, EA, or Electronic Arts, that's the company that was making this
Mm-hmm.
game, they were getting permission, from the NCAA, and also this company called CLC, or Collegiate Licensing Company, which would
Mm-hmm.
be representatives for the colleges that they wanted in their games, right? And they would just
Mm-hmm.
pretty much cut a percentage off and pay each college to like let them use their school or like name, image, and likeness. Because before those earlier versions, they didn't have the players' names; they just had the players' attributes
Mm-hmm.
and their number. Because there was like a lot of gray area. They
Yeah,
didn't
that's
use this.
why they got
Mhm.
sued to
Oh, for
recently
sure.
because of that same
For sure.
ridiculousness that you just said.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And
That's
they were
crazy.
using like the Heisman Trophy winners on the covers. So for a while, college students just wanted that honor because you're in the history right now.
Oh
Like
yeah,
if
yeah,
you
because
make the
Reggie Bush
cover,
was on that joint.
bro, and that's like you can
Yeah,
always go
yeah,
like
yeah,
I was
yeah,
on NCAA college football 13 or
yeah.
whatever year it came out. Like that is a huge honor and accomplishment
And RG three
for
was on
college.
it too. He was on the cover
Exactly. So
too.
you get what I'm
Yep,
saying, right? So
yep.
and I believe I can't remember what year, but it was a later version where they actually started using the fighting songs or band songs for these
Okay,
colleges. So that
okay.
came with the later release because before, kind of like with Madden, you're just licensing like popular songs of that
Mm-hmm.
time and using that. But this latest version, EA or College Football 25, because they kind of shied away from NCAA a little bit, which I don't blame them. They are just a lawsuit ticking time bomb waiting to happen. Jesus Christ, man. Like they can't get away from it.
Listen. I
Bro,
cannot.
bro.
Y'all maybe
So
lost money already one time.
you feel me? And so now what they've done is
Mm-hmm.
they reached out to about, was it either 1,200 or 15,000 players and
Oh
agreed to pay
wow.
them $600 to
There it
use
is.
their name, image, and likeness. It's that simple. And they
That's it.
said, yeah, I think they said around
Because it's a video
10,000
game. That's easy. Because
already opted in. Yeah,
that's
kids,
what the real video
kids,
games do it, right? That's what
bro.
Madden and all them
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it,
yeah.
right?
A lot of the college students said they would have did it for free. They're just happy that they're in the game. You know how cool
Yes.
that is
That's
as
cool.
an athlete. You can play with your player. Like
That's cool. That's
that
cool.
would blow my mind.
That's live. That's
That's
live.
pretty
That's
fire,
live.
right? That's pretty
That's live.
fire.
That's live. That's live.
That is super live. So it got me thinking, like, man, they were making a lot of money. Like NCAA and these colleges were making a lot of money, and none of that trickled down to the athletes. Now athletes, even though you might look at $600 is not a lot, certain players, depending on how popular they are,
I mean,
if they promote and market,
that's a good.
yeah. But the more popular or well-known college
Hmm.
players, they'll be able to make more if they market
Yep.
it and promote that game on their platform. So it's a great opportunity. I say
Oh.
all this to say
Hmm.
this 2025 release will have no FCS schools. It's only going to be FBS schools. They haven't mentioned if and
Oh.
when they're going to release it with, Division One AA schools, which would
With
encompass SWAC,
this Reese.
yeah, in different, divisions. So my thing is,
Ooh.
if they wanted to include that song,
Hmm.
right? And people are saying, well, you needed to attribute it to an HBCU. How can they attribute that song to
They
an
can't.
HBCU with
They
no
can't.
HBCU football teams in the game?
They
That's the
can't.
first thing. Second thing
Mm.
I need people to realize, and it sucks, is LSU, right, is on a
Uh-huh.
bigger platform than
Way bigger.
HBCUs.
They're way bigger. Way
So,
bigger.
so when I'm doing my research, a lot of students, they don't even know that LSU got the idea for that song from Southern, because
Yes.
it
Yes,
was
they did.
right. It was told that Southern played it at one of the like Capitol shows back in
Hmm.
2003, or whatever the case is. I'm sure
You're
they
right.
hear it, but LSU heard it, and then they, got inspired and made their version of Neck, which is nothing wrong with it.
No.
Nothing wrong with it because
it's banned too. It's banned too.
And they had their battles of the bands and their showcases and all that. I'll say this: I watched an LSU and Southern University battle of the band.
Yeah,
Jesus, man, you feel Southern in your soul, bro.
Come on, man.
And not saying Southern LSU didn't do good, but that Southern, I got
come on,
goosebumps.
Southern. Come on, listen. You can't have Southern play the HBCU anthem against anybody. It's going to be a tough out. Now, listen, the only ones that could give them some go are other HBCUs.
But it's not going to be LSU.
It's not going to be LSU, guys.
With their students in the crowd offbeat. That's what I was saying. They're playing that. Everybody's offbeat. I'm just laughing because nobody's in sync and in rhythm. I said, well, I'll be. But they're having a good time, and that's all that matters, I guess.